The S23 Ultra is probably the best phone to try out if you're looking to switch from your iPhone to Android. And why do I say that? Well, one, because apples for apples, no pun intended. If you match this up versus an iPhone, let's say a 13 Pro Max, a 14 Pro Max, you're going to have all the same features that you probably like: high quality camera, high resolution screen, fast refresh rate, so you get a nice smooth scrolling, big battery. But sometimes people don't want to use iPhone anymore, right? You like some of the services. You might like the Apple Card, you might like the iMessage, and those are the two hardest things to pry yourself away from. But I get all the time people asking me, "Hey, should I switch from my iPhone?" And that's a really hard question to answer. But if you're going to do it, this is the best one because it's got all the bells and whistles, and I think it's the best Samsung phone they've ever made. And I think that there's a lot of good things going for it. One UI, which is the software that's on here. If you're not used to using Android, if you're an iPhone user, Samsung has their own like skinned version of Android, which is called One UI. It's One UI 5.1. It's the latest and greatest. It's got basically Samsung has their own skin, their own version of Android. Is what it is. So it's nice, and you get really long-term support. That's not something that we've been able to say, past the last couple of years when it comes to Android. A lot of folks are like, "Hey, my iPhone is good for years. It's covered for years. I get all the updates." And Samsung is the best in the business at doing that in the Android world right now, even better than Pixel. They're doing better than Google, which is funny because Google actually makes Android, and then Samsung has to get it and update all their stuff. So yeah, now you get long-term support. 4 years of operating system updates, 5 years of security patches. And you've also got something cool that Apple doesn't even offer in a phone, which is, ta-da, the S Pen. So the S Pen is Samsung's stylus. They've had it around for a long time, and it has all sorts of great things you can do. You pull it out, and this whole list of options pops up. Create note, view all notes, smart select, screen write, doodling, translation. You can translate stuff on here. So it's really a nice thing to have. And then you've got the shutter button on here as well. So you can press the button. If you press and hold it, it's going to pull up the camera, which is nice. So then you can press the button again. It takes a photo. Now I've got a timer on there from when I was taking some photos for thumbnails the other day. But what's also cool is if you double press, it switches to the other camera. So you can do that. And then you could even have it, like if you have it on video and stuff, you can have it start recording. You can use it as a remote shutter. And here's another cool thing. You can actually use your earbuds as a lapel microphone, which is nice. So that's really cool. Lots of nice things. 200 megapixel camera, 12 megapixel on the front. You got the 100 times super zoom that you could reach out and touch stuff and take pictures of the moon, which may or may not be like real pictures of the moon. It was kind of a controversial thing here, but the zoom is for real. Like you can really zoom in on some stuff and take some great photos that way. And Samsung, I think, has the best video when it comes to Android. So traditionally, at least I felt like the iPhones have had the best video, and it works great for me being able to airdrop and stuff like that. And that's also something you might miss. So a lot of people are like, "Okay, I'm tired of iPhone. I'm tired of the same looking phone every year. I'm tired of just like, I want to try something different. I'm tired of Papa Apple telling me what I can do and controlling my experience, and I want to try something else." But there are things that you will miss, especially if you use them. AirDrop is a big one, but you've got certain things that you can do. You've got nearby share, and like there are things you can do and work around it. There are some Samsung features. There's some Apple. There's some Android features that kind of make up for that stuff. iMessage. Well, if you've got like a tablet, like a Tab S8, you can actually share your messaging across those platforms. So they are coming a long way. And another part of the ecosphere is also this: the Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 Pro, the Galaxy Watch 5 and Watch 5 Pro. They're great alternatives to the Apple Watch. Now, they're not quite on the same level as the Apple Watch Ultra, which also costs $800. But if you want to look at like some actual competition, I, in most ways, actually prefer the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro over the Apple Watch Series 7, which is basically the same as the Series 8. So I think now, if you've been looking at it, if you've been considering it for a long time, this is probably the best opportunity to jump over from the iPhone. And I cover iPhone as well. I've actually got my iPhone 14 Plus in my pocket. I'm recording with my iPhone 14 Pro Max. So this isn't like I'm uneducated on the topic. I've been making iPhone 14 Plus videos. Excellent phone. I've been enjoying it. The battery life on this is top notch. And when you talk about battery life, the the S23 Ultra actually has amazing battery life. It has the best battery life in any Samsung phone I've ever used. I can use this thing as a power user, get 8 hours of screen on time. Some people are like, my phone lasts 2 days. These aren't conversations we've been able to have with Samsung phones or with Android phones in the past. So now the battery life on my S23 Ultra is actually better than the battery life on my iPhone 14 Pro Max. And the software is more stable to me. So I've been using iOS 16. I've been using the iPhone 14 Pro Max since it came out, absent other than just switching to try this out for a couple of weeks. I've had a lot of problems, and a lot of other people have had problems too. The battery life has not been as good. I'm having a lot of heating issues. I've got freezing problems with the software. One UI 5.1 Android 13 has basically been flawless on this. It was great pretty much all this last year once they got the kinks ironed out of Android 12. Ever since we've come on to Android 13, which is the latest version of Android software, it's been really, really good on the S23 Ultra. It's been great across the S23 and the S22 series phones. So we've got stability. We've got the S Pen, which is a feature you don't get. There are expanded features on the cameras that you don't get. And one other cool thing, if you care about it, is you get 8K video. The iPhone cannot do that. So you get 8K video over here. You get Expert RAW if you're taking photos. So you got Pro RAW with the iPhone. If you want to take some good photos, export them in RAW and do all your filters and your editing and your post stuff, you can do that on here. And it's perfect for Instagram and things like that. Very easy to upload stuff. And of course, you've got 4K video on the front and the back. So that's also nice. It's good for content creation too. You can shoot some really good video with this. And I think the microphones in here are actually better than the ones on the iPhone. So there's some really nice pros and cons. Like, I think there's more pros than cons when you talk about it. And also one nice thing you get too, baseline storage on here is 256 gigabytes as opposed to the 128, which is the baseline on the iPhones. So if you get an iPhone 14, 14 Plus, 14 Pro, Pro Max, they all start with 128. They charge you like an extra $100 to get the 256. So that's a nice thing. You get great storage in here. And I think the screen looks better. And it's funny because the screen in the iPhone is actually made by Samsung. And they've done a good job with that. And the peak, like auto brightness outdoors, is actually a little bit higher. I don't think it's really even very noticeable. But for day-to-day usage, I think that the AMOLED screen on here looks even better than the one on the iPhone. I totally love it. I think this is the best looking screen you can get in a smartphone. Really great experience. So when you talk about all those things, that's why I think it's the best one to switch over. If you like, again, Apple's Apples, Apple to Samsung, if you look at those like across one platform to the other, talk about screen, battery life, memory, storage space, camera capabilities, video, OS, all sorts of different things, it matches and meets it and exceeds it in several different areas. The only stuff that really it makes it hard to switch over is one, iMessage, because of course you got the green bubble, the blue bubble stuff, you've got your group chats, you've got your friends and stuff. There are actually different platforms coming online. I think it's called Sunbird, which I'm enrolled in the beta. I'm waiting to get registered on that so I can actually try out this iMessage alternative that's supposed to work with iMessage on the Android phones. So hopefully I can have something to follow up on that later. I really wish they'd open that up, but that's really, I think, one of the last things that keeps people so tied into the Apple environment. Because if you lose the ability to have exclusive iMessage capability, people can come and go freely. So I think Apple knows that like they have to hold on to that, and they refuse to open it up and let other platforms use it. So hopefully we can get some third-party alternatives that actually allow you to communicate with iMessage, because that would really make things better. And then if you're really worried about it, you can get WhatsApp, you can use Signal, you can use Telegram. There's a lot of great third-party apps out there that you can use to get around that, which work out pretty well. And they actually have some really nice features too. So yeah, there are alternatives to that. You've got Apple Pay, you've got Samsung Pay on here. You can even use Google Pay. So those are some other alternatives to the payment systems. And well, if you like Apple Music, I prefer Spotify. I think it's much better. So you can always go with that route. And if you buy one of these brand new from Samsung, you get like 4 months of free. I think 4 or 6 months free of Spotify, something like that. I'll have to edit this. I don't know exactly off the top of my head, but there's a lot of different compelling reasons. And I'm not trying to get you to switch over. I don't care if you do or not. But if you're interested, and that's why you're watching this video, the S23 Ultra, I think, is the best. And for people who think that, oh, it's such a big and bulky phone, if you're using an iPhone 13 Pro Max, 14 Pro Max, 12 Pro Max, 11 Pro Max, those suckers are big, bulky, and heavy. And I think that the S23 Ultra is actually balanced better and easier to carry, and it's not made out of stainless steel. So the Pro Max series iPhones are super heavy bricks. Like they're ridiculous. So yeah, that's why I wanted to make this video. I've seen a lot of this stuff, and it's funny because I've seen a lot of YouTubers making their videos, the tech guys who are saying, hey, I'm switching, I've switched, and there's one thing I haven't seen a whole lot of is I've returned it. You know, a lot of times you'll see, oh, I'm switching to this phone so you can get the clicks and all that stuff, and then a few weeks later, oh, I returned it and I went back because they weren't really switching and they wanted to get the views on the comeback. So surprisingly, I saw a whole bunch of I'm switching videos, and then I didn't see a whole bunch of I'm returning it videos. So if you've been on the fence, even if you're looking at this phone from even an Android perspective, S23 Ultra, again, I think it's the best phone Samsung's ever made. I think it's the best Android smartphone out on the market right now. But again, very expensive phone, $1199 MSRP. They've done a lot of things right here. Again, 4 years operating system updates, 5 years of support. And if you're looking to switch over, I think it's a pretty compelling phone. If you want something in the budget sector, like if you don't want to spend a bunch of money, you've got an older iPhone, I think the Pixel 7 is probably the best one to switch over. So I just want to slide that in here. I'm not biased to Samsung at all, but if you're switching over from like an iPhone Pro Series phone, this right here is it. If you want to save some money, if you're coming over from like the SE or something like that, also the Pixel 6a is a good alternative, but the prices have just been so compelling when it comes to the Pixel 7 that I think it's just a great, really excellent phone. So that's all I've got. If you're interested in switching over, I've got a link in the description. You can certainly use that. But if you're not interested in switching over and you're just curious about this, hopefully I gave you some good food for thought. Like I said, if you switch over, that's fine. This video is just to help people who are already in that department looking to do that. I'm not looking to convert anybody from the Church of Apple to the Church of Samsung. You can certainly make your own decisions when it comes to that department. But I just wanted to talk about, there's been a whole lot of people that have been actually interested in it. I get comments about it all the time saying, hey, should I get rid of this phone? Should I pick up this phone? Yeah, but it's very expensive and it's a very big phone. So those are kind of the two trade-offs, but there's a lot of great things going on here. And if you've seen a lot of the positive videos about it, that's because it's true. This has been a fantastic phone. I've really enjoyed it. The most enjoyable Samsung that I've used, and it's a great flagship experience. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, please go down in the comment section. I'll get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, if you found this helpful, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.